Hey everyone, before we begin today's video, do check out the campaign to get your very own plush version of Raj, our mascot of the channel. Do check out the link below in the pinned comment for more information. Thank you! Now don't worry, the Ginyu Force will show up. That is until Vegeta shows up, and you get the idea. Hey guys, MasakoX here. In terms of our other stories, this premise seems to be one thing that isn't all that spectacular, nor is that engaging. Goku loses a fight? Big deal. It's not like he has never lost a battle in the main show before. But yeah, that's the point. Goku losing fights is an important part of what makes him who he is today, and why he is one of the most recognizable characters in not only anime, but also animation as a whole. If Goku won every single battle that he had ever been in, he would be nothing like what we know. In fact, you might consider him to be a colossal jerk. But then again, sometimes vanilla Goku does jerky behavior, but you get what he's doing. Here though, it's a whole other kettle of fish, as today we continue our theory about what might have happened had Goku won against Master Roshi back in the day. If you're new to this story, then you might be asking, which time am I talking about? We are talking about the time when Roshi donned the wig of Jackie Chun and taught Goku and his pupils a lesson in humility and aspirations. Never settle for your lot in life right now, because there will always be something greater that will come for you eventually. Never stop and always strive to improve. It's a very good lesson, and something I can absolutely respect, as it applies to us all in our daily lives no matter what we do. But this time around, Goku didn't get the memo, and he got the win over his master through the use of his gnashers, a classic trope of Goku's throughout the years, and something that both Boo and Freeza can tell you hurts. What also hurts though, is that this changes Goku utterly and entirely, to the point where you get to the fight with Piccolo, and he's barely recognizable. A true hermit with none of his friends by his side, or at least barely hanging on, saddened that arrogance had consumed him. In the last part, we fortunately realised that not all of Goku's original selfless personality had faded away. It also confirmed that, despite his jerk-like behaviour in the past, we had realised that he had not become evil because of it. It just made him a little pompous. Just because he liked to win a lot, that didn't make him a bad guy, and when pressured by Raditz, he chose what was safer, the safer option for Earth. Now ensconced in the Saiyan race and Freeza camp, it's Goku's mission now to try and bring it down from within, now that they had landed on Namek and had now gained the trust of his commanding officer, Vegeta. With his faith assured, Vegeta makes his plan to topple Freeza known to Goku, and together, now brimming with extra Zenkai, they are beginning the renaissance of the Saiyans. Hopefully. Sure enough, like we mentioned before, Freeza has arrived on Namek, and he isn't alone, as he has both Zarbon and Dodoria at his side. Meanwhile, the Namekians and the Saiyans are frantically trying to gather the Dragonballs before Frieza's men can start properly with their search, with Vegeta, Goku, Nappa and Raditz losing that race 1-6. It's not exactly been the best start to proceedings, I will tell you that, but Vegeta isn't all that worried. They are strong, and they have one Dragon Ball to their name. They are preventing the Earthlings and the Namekians from winning out. No one else can win unless they have that ball. And also, they can get the balls themselves from other people from brute force, something that is making Goku feel a little nervous. At one point, Vegeta even suggests that they could lure some Namekians into a false sense of security. Let them gather the Dragon Balls themselves. Let them think that they're winning. They can summon Porunga when they seek to purge their planet from bad guys, and then, when they're unawares, strike them down when they summon it, and intercept the whole wish process for their own ends. It completely takes out all of the work, and they get all the glory. Nappa and Raditz are all about a surprise attack, but Goku remains a little quiet about this. It's something that he's all too familiar with. Something like that has happened with their own Dragon Balls in the past, so it's entirely possible that it could happen again. Suddenly, Nappa turns to Goku, noticing that he isn't as mirthful as them.
Hey Kakarot, why the long face? Are you questioning Vegeta's brilliant plan with your silence?
Vegeta turns to Goku and is wondering the same thing. Goku tries to brush it off coolly, like he's instead focusing on the best way to go about their plan, trying to be all methodical-like. This just about throws Vegeta off the scent, as it were. For now. Goku is thinking very carefully, yeah, perhaps this is a good moment, nay, opportunity, for him to switch sides and rejoin his Earth comrades. He had seen enough of these guys to last a lifetime, and their terrible behaviour to ward him off ever going down that path. But that being said though, he has grown a bit attached to his Saiyan brethren. It was good to learn a little about what made Saiyans tick, their past, but he also understands that he could never become them entirely. After a noticeably quiet and subdued moment, Raditz admits to his brother that he isn't that mad about Kakarot getting almost as strong as Vegeta.
You know, when I first realized you had surpassed me, I was angry. Angry that you had upstaged me. I wished that I had never set foot on that heap you called a home. Be rid of you. But now, I surprise myself on saying this. I'm over it.
This surprises Goku a fair bit, thinking that Raditz was never someone who could back down from a point of view. He goes on to say that it's good that at least one of Bardock's sons was worthy of making him proud in some way. He would have liked it to have been him, but, you know, you can't have it all. They then have a further reflective moment, with Goku asking further details about their parents, with Raditz admitting that he did not really have a lot of time to spend with them either, or as much as he would have liked. This gives Goku second thoughts about all of this, on all of it. He thought that he'd gotten things settled out now. He was back, actually, to square one. He still would like to take out some sort of revenge on Tenshinhan, still not fully trusting him with how sudden his rise was, but maybe he can, perhaps, unite them all together against one enemy? Perhaps there didn't have to be one side winning out. He didn't have to choose. He could have the best of both worlds. If what they say about this Freeza guy is true, then they would need all hands on deck to defeat him, right? It would be time for Vegeta to swallow his pride and realize that if he wanted to be rid of this Emperor entirely, properly, he would need all the help that he could get. Sadly for them though, the Freeza troops are rapidly increasing their efforts in terms of scouting Namek for the Dragon Balls, and some of them even find the Saiyan base. With Kui amongst them, the Purple Mook is keen to be the one to end Vegeta for himself and his master, but they are easily overpowered by the group, them being subject to the gains that they had mustered since arriving on Namek. Oh, those sweet, sweet, broken Zenkai. That being said, the scout party managed to send the location of the Saiyans to Freeza before all communications are ceased. The other group that attacked the Namekian base is also easily defeated, and it gives Bulma plenty of scouters and Freeza tech to tinker with in the midst of all this chaos going on around her. Goku then suggests to Vegeta that they can use Frieza's threat as a real bargaining chip in order to get the Namekians to work against Freeza and for them. If they can use the local populace to make use of their land, they might be able to encourage Frieza's downfall, or at least get him to go away and leave them alone to gather the balls in peace. Vegeta ponders on this for a second before replying.
If I was immortal, I could deal with Freeza myself, Kakarot. But you are right. We don't have much time on our hands. Nappa, Raditz, you go to the green people with a peace offering. Tell them that we are going to deliver the Dragon Balls later.
As you might expect, Nappa and Raditz aren't happy about them or this idea. It's just not right. This isn't the Saiyan way of doing things. If their fellow Saiyans could see them now, they would be branded as weaklings and no good for purpose. But their leaders were able to do enough in terms of managing to convince them, though Goku is unsure why he and Vegeta weren't going with them as well.
Because I know who he's going to send after us, Kakarot. I have a score to settle with them. I have waited a long time to smash those two faces in, and I believe that you and I are strong enough to destroy those fools.
Goku's surprised. He had never heard Vegeta talk about someone being an equal to him. It was always some kind of degree of separation whenever he talked about the likes of strength. But this time, he was including him. Oh man, this is all getting so tough to try and pick a side. Like Vegeta said, Zarbon and Dodoria are tasked with destroying the pesky Saiyans, and they do ultimately set their sights on Vegeta. Originally, Dodoria is the only one that is supposed to fight, with Zarbon not believing that his presence or power was required there, and he was only there because Freeza told him to be. But, after seeing how well Vegeta is able to deal with Dodoria, he tries to team up with him against the prince, only to then be stopped by Goku. And, surprise surprise, the Saiyan duo is much more effective this time, and obliterate Frieza's left and right hand aliens. In the midst of this victory against two people he despised, Vegeta is being pragmatic here. He had achieved the first phase of his vengeance, sure, but this wasn't over yet.
This act will not go unnoticed. We should go and gather the ball and meet with the Namekians and Earthlings. The time to act is now. Freeza will not be slow to respond.
Nail and the Dragon team have had very little time to launch a counterattack against Raditz and Nappa, thinking that they're here for nefarious purposes, with the bold Saiyan losing his patience. Raditz, on the other hand, explains that they were slaves under the service of the despicable Emperor Freeza. After seeing the strength and resilience of the Namekian warriors, Nappa and Raditz were somewhat satisfied with Vegeta's musings that these green men weren't all that useless. They will toe the line for the time being. They decided to combine their forces against Freeza. Their leader is willing to give up the last Dragon Ball if they are willing to join forces and protect the Namek, eschewing their selfish desires. Tenshinhan advises Nail to listen to him. He senses that this has got a lot of Goku on it.
I know Goku. He is behind this about face. Saiyans are usually scum and do not engage with bargaining tactics. Somebody has put them up to this, and I believe I know who it is.
Meanwhile, Freeza discovers that he is running out of men, having lost his two favourite minions. Now in a rather irritated sort of mood, he calls his strongest battalion, the Ginyu Force, to stop whatever it is they're doing, head for a Namek immediately, then locate the Saiyan base, and then slowly unearth all the places where Namekians were hiding. The Namekian fighters then descend on Freeza. They tell the little tyrant that he is outnumbered and alone, as his troops were dealt with. Freeza is pretty amused by this. To show how amused he is, he then decides to take down a few warriors with a single death beam. This starts a massive fight against Freeza. Meanwhile, Goku and Vegeta are able to sense this from a distance, but they quickly realize that some very powerful power levels are coming to Namek as well. Vegeta knows who they belong to. Him and Kakarot have gotten far stronger than they normally would have done without all of the buffing of the Zenkai. He is unsure if this new power is enough to take the Ginyu Force down alone. Vegeta admits that he hopes that those fools will be able to keep Frieza occupied long enough for them to try and stop the Ginyu Force. Goku is very conflicted by this. Those Ginyus won't arrive for quite some time, and maybe they could help their allies against Frieza now, and then they could deal with the Ginyus after that. Vegeta scoffs at him and calls him soft, and then attacks him. What are you doing?
If we are going to stand even a remote chance of success here, we need one last Zenkai. You and me, Kakarot. I hope you still have those beans.
So the Saiyans start their last warm-up battle. Meanwhile, Frieza is wrecking everyone up. Unbeknownst to the tyrant, Bulma has managed to salvage a small hovercraft and cloak it, so she can sneak out and find Goku and Vegeta with the last ball. Yamcha chooses to tag along with the scientist, saying that he will cover her. Before Frieza is able to fell another Namekian, Yamcha stands in before him. Oh my, what a handsome and dashing young creature we have here. I hope you're not all that afraid of pain. Frieza toys with the Tezzeret bandit, much to the horror of his friends, but Yamcha is relentless and continues to stand tall. Ultimately, Frieza gets bored with all of this buffoonery and just blasts him, which causes Tenshinhan, Nail and Krillin to jump into the fray. They manage to get an upper hand, for a while, until Frieza gets bored with them as well, and starts to really mess them up. Meanwhile, Vegeta and Goku are locked in their last training battle, and Goku wins, much to Vegeta's surprise.
Good, Kakarot. Now, Bean.
He is interrupted by Bulma, who brings them the remaining Dragon Balls. Goku is happy to see her, and seeing Vegeta's state, they combine the set and summon Porunga. Vegeta is absolutely furious, with Goku stating that he will give Vegeta a senzu bean after the wish is made. Bulma then corrects him and says that they have wishes, not just one, and surprises him with her knowledge of the Namekian language. Where did this come from? It turns out that Guru had also unlocked the knowledge of Namekian language in her, or at least the ability to learn it quickly. She was then able to absorb it, or at least learn enough how to summon a dragon, from conversations with Dende. Freeza is absolutely livid, and leaves a barely living Nail, Tenshinhan and Krillin in his wake, as Porunga can be seen from very far away. He rushes towards the dragon. Bulma and Goku wish for Piccolo back to Namek, being telepathically ordered to do so by King Kai and Kami. Now, they have 2 sets of Dragon Balls, but before they can do anything else, the Dragon Balls on Namek lose their power. Guru has passed of old age. Goku quickly gives Vegeta a senzu bean, who immediately starts attacking him, all of this on the back of his insubordination, but Bulma manages to put some sense into him. They don't have time to quarrel here. Frieza is flying here as they speak. Vegeta also feels that the Ginyus are getting closer and closer. He won't forgive that betrayal of Kakarot's, but if they even hope to stand a chance of getting out of any of this against Frieza, he has to work with them. Bulma reveals that the Earth Dragon Balls can be collected now rather quickly, so they can then try to fix the Namekian ones. Vegeta submits to them, but not before shooting a gaping hole through Goku's chest. He tosses Bulma a senzu bean. "He might need that. I just needed to vent is all." Meanwhile, Nappa and Raditz are pondering whether they should finish Krillin, Nail and Tenshinhan off. Nappa seems very eager to do so, but Raditz tells him that they might be their chance to survive. Their quarrel is interrupted by the arrival of Piccolo. Raditz is utterly shocked by this.
"Wait, didn't I end you or something?"
"We can settle that later." As in the original, Nail explains to him the whole ordeal with the Namekian fusion and agrees to fuse with Piccolo. Krillin and Tenshinhan are in rough shape, but luckily, one of the Dragon Priest clan members with them, he had been in hiding in this whole time, not trusting the Saiyans one bit, was able to sneakily heal the wounded, but now he can do it out in the open. The group now pursues Freeza, who discovers the powerless Dragon Balls and takes out his frustration on Goku. Goku is nowhere strong enough to fight him yet, and would have been a Goku sandwich had it not been for Piccolo. Everyone is quite shocked at how strong he has become, as he is able to give First Form Freeza quite a heavy beating. Meanwhile, Raditz advises Bulma to take Kakarot to Frieza's ship, as there is a healing pod there. Bulma is reluctant to do so, but then ultimately takes Krillin and now a beaten Goku with her. Meanwhile, at said vessel, Vegeta welcomes Captain Ginyu and the rest of the squad to Namek. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? How do you feel Goku is going to handle an angry Vegeta? Will Frieza be able to counter quick enough and stop this Saiyan from healing? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!